Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's town hall. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, before we kick things off, just a few housekeeping notes from myself. We are live streaming and recording today, so if you get disconnected at any point, you can go ahead and head over to our YouTube page at youtube.com/at hospitable. We'll kick things off today with some company and product updates as always, before moving on to some Q&A from the audience. If you've got any questions throughout the session, please do feel free to use the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen. Try not to put your questions in the chat as we may miss them. And we'll get started. I'm just going to briefly bring up our disclaimer and then I'm going to hand over to PC to start some new team intros.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. The team is still growing, and as is necessary for the onboarding, we're introducing them over to you. And the one introduction that we got to make today is Ashley, who is joining our sales team as an account executive. Go ahead, Ashley, tell us a bit more about you. There are probably some people that you're going to have on calls that are now live on their first town hall. So yeah, tell us who you are, what you're doing at Hospitable, and maybe sharing something fun about you.
Awesome. Yes, my name is Ashley. I am joining Hospitable. I'm in my third week now, after being a host and hospitable customer for quite a while. And I was a brand new baby host, one property, and I genuinely could not have figured it all out without Hospitable. I definitely would have gotten myself double booked, or missed a message. So Hospitable was a huge part of that, and now I get to be here. A fun fact, I have three cats named after characters from the show The Office. So they're named Dwight, Jim, and Pam. So they're really cute, keep me company working remote here. And I'm just so excited to be joining the sales team and bringing this product to as many hosts as possible.
So what is Dwight up to?
Dwight, he is the older of the three, so he is
I could.
probably sleeping.
He's probably sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, not exactly the character. As a character, thank you so very much for joining us, Ashley. Good luck. I have to congratulate you because it seems like you've been passing the product test with absolute flying colors. Very impressive and commended by everyone in the sales team. So thank you so much. Now, there are plenty of product updates that you can stay in the loop of. And we're going to start with Andrew giving you an update about Hospitable Tasks that we released just 2 weeks ago now, and with some further improvements. Go ahead, Andrew. Good luck.
All right. Yeah. If you weren't here 2 weeks ago, you missed it. It was a record town hall. I think we went 90 minutes. We should have more time today for actual Q&A with you guys. So just give us a few minutes here to get through some of the updates we've been working on. But Hospitable Tasks. So we unveiled the new Hospitable Tasks app. It is an app used by your teammates to manage their tasks. So accepting and declining jobs, notifying you when they're on their way, arrived, starting the job, they've completed the tasks. All of this updates in real time in Hospitable, including as they're checking each item off your checklist, reporting issues, and uploading photos, for example. At the end of completed tasks, we help you automatically pay out your team. This app is currently available in English and Spanish to all Hospitable customers. Only the payments feature that I mentioned is restricted to customers on host, professional, and mogul plans with US properties. Now, it is pretty easy to get started. You can invite your team from their teammate profile in Hospitable, or simply tell them to go to tasks.hospitable.com and they can log in with the email address associated with their teammate profile. We were using login links previously, but these had several issues. Some of your teammates, depending on what device they're on, what browser, etc., they had some issues with the login links. So we've retired those, and we have replaced them with a login code, so a 6-digit code that they can get by email, and we keep them logged in for 30 days. We'll be adding support very soon for invites and logins via SMS shortly for those of your teammates that prefer those. Once they're logged in, they can add and verify their bank account. If your teammate was an early adopter, we did fix an issue with the links to verify. Sorry about that. A lot of them were getting blocked as a pop-up on some devices. This has now been fixed, so that should be easier for them to do. You can do the same if you haven't already on Hospitable. Add and verify a bank account that you want to pay from. That is one of the things we'll be doing very, very soon, is giving you the ability to pay from more than one bank account. I know a lot of you have asked for that. That's still coming soon. But you can then start adding the amount to pay on your task and task rules. And then when tasks are completed, we will send you a nice notification. The task is done, and then you can approve the payment from that notification. So far, in those 2 weeks, those of you that are early adopters, we have paid out almost $10,000. It went really nice to get there. $10,000 since the last town hall. And in the next 7 days, almost double that is already booked. So it's a good start. It's also quite small. That is less than 0.2% of our weekly cleaning volume. So we know that things are just getting started, and we have big hopes for what's to come next there. But just to go into slightly more detail on paying your own team, this is provided at no charge for the first month and a half, 2 months as we get started here. So until May 1st, we don't charge anything. After that, we will give you a free payment per property per month. So if you are on a monthly payment term, you don't have to pay anything to use this payment feature. You also don't have to use our payment feature. This is not required to use the Tasks app or anything like that. But we'll give you one free payment a month. And then if you pay maybe after every clean, or you want to set up weekly payments or biweekly payments, we'll charge you a marginal fee to cover the transfer cost for us. So 1.5% capped at $5, and we'll let you determine how you want to pay. That's a configuration that's coming soon. That's not available today in the app. Other things that we will be working on very soon. I think since the town hall, I think a lot of it's just been monitoring, working on very fundamental things, just making sure that the app is smooth to use and it's accessible to your team. The bigger kind of features that we'll be working on next, though, as I alluded to, multiple payment methods. So you can, a lot of you that have maybe owners and other, bank account for each LLC, for each property, we're going to help you in that structure. We're going to help you with secondary teammates. So those of you that have a cleaning manager that might assign, all different kinds of cleaners that may or may not actually, be a teammate for you on Hospitable, we're going to make that possible. Payment terms, as we said. Inventory management. A lot of you have asked to pay by credit card. We're going to make that possible as well. The long-awaited expansion of a lot of our fintech capabilities outside of the US. Those are things that we're really trying to get over the line. That's it for me. If you want to do more with this now and maybe get a little bit more familiar, you can scan the QR code here to do an interactive step-by-step demo to get your feet wet and learn a bit more about this. There is also an option if you would like to have a one-on-one conversation with myself and people on the team that are building this now, and you want to give us feedback, you want to ask us questions, you want to get kind of the white glove onboarding help. We are happy to do that. There are limited sessions available over the next few weeks. We'll keep expanding that if we keep learning more from you, and we're having a good time with that. So yeah, scan that QR code and you can book a call with us, and we'll help you get set up and take whatever feedback you have on what makes your operations unique and how we can better help you manage those in Hospitable. And with that, I will pass to Marina to give you updates on connectivity.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Andrew. Now let's talk about Vrbo. And by the way, I have some terrible drilling going on, so I really hope you guys can hear me. But let's get started. Where we are in terms of the Vrbo integration. Well, as you can see in the slides, we passed all 3 major stages for certification. We passed certification, pilot, monitoring, they're all done. And now we're entering into the onboarding phase. That means that we will start slowly onboarding you as hosts to the official Vrbo connection. Why does this matter? It's because the official connection is way more reliable and faster than what we have today, and it's better experience for hosts. We'll be starting with US hosts, but we'll be opening up to all countries supported by Stripe on May. So let's take a look on how we're rolling this out. So we're starting with a small pilot. It's going to last about 2 weeks. So a small group of hosts are invited to move to the new connection. Why are we doing another pilot? Didn't we do another one before? Well, the first pilot was together with Vrbo. This is a pilot driven by us because we want to make sure that your experience when you're onboarding into this new connection is good. So we want to be testing with a small group first. And once we're confident, which should be in about 2 weeks, we'll be progressively inviting all US hosts, and we're aiming to start that at the beginning of April. So the migration is not automatic. Am my account suddenly going to change to Vrbo official? No, it's not. It's not going to be like that. You'll be invited to upgrade your connection, and you can do it whenever you're ready. We will let you know once it is available for your. We're really excited that we're getting really close. We're really almost there. So now I'll be inviting Nick to stage to talk about exciting improvements that the POG team is working on.
Thank you, Marina. Hello, everyone. So we, some weeks ago, unveiled a new navigation interface in the application as part of our efforts to help you find the things you need in the app a little bit easier and faster. And we're taking more steps in that direction now by rolling out a new search feature within Hospitable. So previously, you really had to know where you had to go by clicking through many menus and pages to find the thing that you're looking for. There's now an option to search directly for that thing. And what is that? So you can search for a specific property to go straight to it. You can search for parts of the app like messaging rules. You can search for specific messaging rules by name or upsells by name. You can search even for example, booking policies, and then you'll get a list of the properties on your account, and you can click through into the booking policy for that property. And of course, very easy access in a variety of ways of searching for it to your channel connections, because that is, of course, the most critical part of your operation. So whether you search for Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, channels, connections, accounts, you'll always have that option readily available. So there's a new item in your interface. If you have beta experimental features enabled, I'll talk about that in a second, you should find this search option in the navigation bar. You can either click it, or if you are on a computer, you can press on your keyboard Command K, or on Windows, I think Control K. Yeah, you'll have a new pop-up open up for search, and go ahead and search for anything you want. It right now is not literally everything. We are adding more and more things to it, but I think it has enough now to already make a big dent in how quickly you get access to something that you care about. So please try it out. Let us know what you think. Yeah, as I mentioned, one last point on that is that if you haven't already enabled beta features, as we call it, experimental features, you need to go into your preferences. So click on next to your name, there's a gear icon. There's going to be preferences there, and at the bottom, you're going to have this little option, enable experimental features. We occasionally release to an earlier batch of customers things that we are still kind of in the earlier stages of developing. They're ready to be used, but maybe not like fully 100% completed. So this is one of those. If you want to get early access to this, go ahead and enable that experimental feature option. So next, a few more improvements that I will talk about in general that we have released over the past few weeks. I think a lot of you will resonate deeply with some of these. So first of all, I think a lot of you have been wanting and asking for this for quite a while. You can now mark multiple messages, multiple conversations rather, in the inbox as read at the same time. So if you have quite a few that have piled up, you can just select either multiple, and at the bottom you have mark as read, or if you go in the inbox to the unread messages section, you have one main button at the top saying mark all as read. Click on that, and your entire inbox is marked as read automatically, immediately clearing that out. Okay, that's inbox. Mobile app. There have been more and more reports of the app freezing, in particular when using suggest with AI and trying to edit the message before sending. We rolled out an update a few days ago, and early results are promising. Rather, sorry, we rolled out an update earlier today, actually. And we think that has now been fixed. If not, please do let us know. We think we found something. Ben, thank you. Ben spent a very long time on this, trying to pin down what this is, because this didn't affect everyone, and it was very hard to figure out. But still in the mobile app, from time to time, we got reports that push notifications, so alerts on your phone, weren't getting received. And we think we found the reason for that as well. And there was an update that you might have seen on the iPhone App Store that was pushed out a couple days ago. And we think that's fixed as well. So I think you should be getting push notifications if you hadn't been before this point. One last thing to mention, is that a small update. If you're using rental agreements and your guests sign those, you might have noticed that the check-in dates were purely month and day if they were in the same year as when the reservations, the agreements being signed. We changed that to always show the year because obviously it's very important to have specific dates for the full year showing there. So small improvement, but I think like we want to polish the smaller details here as well. So letting you know about that. As usual, more to come, but I think for now, from me, that's it. And I will pass it over to Abby to talk about changes in Direct.
Thank you, Nick. So for Direct, we have made some much needed improvements to guest verification. First of all, your returning Direct Premium guests can now skip guest verification when they are booking through your website. So we've always allowed this if you're creating a custom quote for your guests, but we still required every returning guest to go through verification again with booking through your website. We're really sorry that it took us so long to get to this point. We were probably being a little bit overly cautious on risk and things like that. But this is fixed now, so returning guests do not need to go through guest verification. And then we've made a couple of other small improvements. So we've improved our name matching logic. So now we won't flag guests that maybe enter a nickname that doesn't match their ID or forget a middle name or misspell their name. And we've also added some additional checks on the guest email so that we're identifying any emails that might be undeliverable or disposable, which can also be a good indicator of fraud. Those two improvements are available on guest verification in general. So if you're using guest verification outside of Direct Premium, you'll benefit from those two improvements as well. And that is it for me. Next up is Miles.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Abby. Yes, just going to go through a few new applications that have been built in the past few weeks. So basically, we have quite a vast number here, and I'm not going to go through them all in detail, but here's a quick look at some of the new integrations available to connect to your Hospitable account. So these are companies that have chosen to build an integration to our property management software. So we've got everything from a rental platform with verified military guests to a rental platform for properties on or near water. So there's a wealth of new platforms and applications available to connect. If you want to find out more about any of these new software, you can head to my.hospitable.com/apps to read more about them and get them connected to your Hospitable account. Okay, and then I'm also going to share some of our upcoming events that we have on the agenda. So first up, we have a workshop all about the beautiful game and how to prepare for any big event coming to your town or city. So join us next week for that workshop with our own Derek Jones and industry expert Annie Holcomb. That's going to be Wednesday, March 25th at 1 p.m. Pacific time or 4 p.m. Eastern time, all around how to prepare for influx of visitors from around the world, be that operations management, dynamic pricing, calendar management, the works. So join us there for that. And yes, in 2 weeks' time, we will, of course, have another town hall. We're going to share some big, exciting news there and also some of our usual product updates along with time for Q&A. So as always, if you scan that QR code, you can make sure that you add all of our town halls to your calendar so you don't miss them. For folks in Europe, the time of that next town hall will be back to normal, and it'll be at 6 p.m. Central European time. Okay, and then last but definitely not least on events, we have a bunch of in-person workshops coming up. So we are looking at planning even more of these, but in April and May, we have events in London, UK, Miami and Atlanta. And we're basically looking at helping you to really kind of make the most of your Hospitable account and kind of power up your usage, making sure that you're really set up and optimized to use all of the features on your account. So if you're interested in checking out any of those events, go ahead, scan that QR code. There's going to be the London, Miami, and Atlanta events on there for you to register for. And there's also going to be a form that you can fill in if you want to sign up for any future events as well that we have coming up throughout the year. Great. Great. And the final thing from me is one just community update. And so if you didn't already know, Hospitable does have a refer a friend reward program. And that can be found if you go to your profile in Hospitable. If you go down to your profile picture and click refer a host, you can find the full details in there. We decided to be a bit more generous with our referral program though. So if you've referred anyone in the past, you may know that you previously got $30 in credit for a new referral, and we've decided to triple that. So if you're on a Host Professional or Mogul plan, you'll now get $100 in credits. Previously on Legacy, you only got $10. And you'll now get $30 in return. And obviously, if you refer 5 or more hosts, you also get to unlock VIP status. And if you've got 7 or more, or if you're in the top 10 referrers, there's going to be even more rewards as well. So if you scan that QR code, you can go to the community to find out more about those extra bonuses. And if you could check out the chat, Petra has shared the link to the referral program as well, so that you can get referring some friends and family and fellow hosts to Hospitable. And without further ado, I'm going to pass over to PC to talk a bit more about the host token.
Yeah, I'm back, but just one thing on the referral rewards on turning VIP, that means you get my WhatsApp number. And actually, I don't know why, but people actually don't use it as often as I thought. So it's still available for everyone that's on VIP support, which means 5 referrals or an investment of $5,000. And that's the second part that I'm going to be talking about you right now. About our token, the host token, I didn't share an update for the past few town halls, but the token is still alive and going well. So we performed one adjustment on the market valuation. So now Hospitable is valued through the host token at $211 million, with a few investments that have occurred along the way from our customers. So people like you that can invest into Hospitable, because yes, we're very different from the other companies. We want to keep Hospitable 100% owned by the team that is building it and its customers. And as you've heard from Ashley, there is a significant overlap between customers and people working in the team. And we intend to continue doing it in this way, so that we build for you, not to satisfy venture capitalists or private equity firms, and with a board of people that demand short-term results. We can do that ourselves, kinda. So our investors are our own customers. And so as a customer, especially if you are an accredited investor in the United States, you are invited to invest. You can join on invest.hospitable.com. And yeah, you can see the graph right there. That is the price of the token for new investors. And that is basically continuously going up because we believed it was grossly undervalued. And I think I'm kind of vindicated in the initial assumption. You could invest into Hospitable, I think, at a $30 million valuation 2 years ago. Now, obviously, we secure more investments. Says a lot about human nature. And we still believe that this valuation should be attractive, not only based on what we see on private equity markets, but also based on the growth of our business. That basically would still be the actual revenue numbers of Hospitable would basically point to still a much higher now valuation. So you're still having some upside, even investing at that rate. The next window for an valuation increase will be on April 1st. And that will be the end of the schedule one. That will be at $270 million. And I can already tell you it is already at a discount. So yeah. One thing, if you are in the United States, you will need to demonstrate that you are an accredited investor. You will need to provide evidence of it by a verification letter. And the best service that I found is accredited.am, a service that's offering you fast and cheaper accredited investor verification letter. We do not have any relationship. We do not make any money. It's just the #1 source of verification letters that we have. And it is 26 past the hour. We are speedrunning this town hall, and we have, as planned, more time for Q&A. Is there going to be enough questions for us to last an hour?
Let's find out. As a reminder as well, folks, if you do have any questions that you prefer to type to us for whatever reason, try to use the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen rather than the chat because we'll miss them. But it would be even better if you come on stage to ask your question. So if you'd like to do that, please head down to the reaction button at the bottom of your screen, click the raise hand. That'll let us know that you're interested in asking a question, and then I'll invite you on stage and ask you to unmute yourself so that we can hear you speak. So yes, please encourage you to use this time to ask us any questions you have about today's releases or other features that you're keen to learn more about.
And you will need to be raising your hand, which, yeah, we're just having people starting, so you can raise your hand and you will be invited on stage. And I think we can call the first one. Miles.
Yes, hello. Janine,
Janine.
do you have a question for us?
Yeah, hello. So thanks for the update. There is something I've asked previously, and all your work in software is fantastic. I was hoping in the future we could get a custom field, an option or options for custom fields. An example of that is for my unit, I always have to go manually and tell my housekeeper whether the sofa bed should be set up as a queen or should be left as a sofa. And that's a custom field that I think would be really helpful, or if we could put our own custom fields there in the future.
Right, from the task side, I would love to get there. Like where does that information come from? Like where does the request, you're communicating that with the guest and then passing that on to the cleaner?
Yes. So right now the process is that, once I get a booking, I message the guest and ask them if they need the sofa bed set up as a queen bed. And then when I have that information, then I text that to the cleaning company, the cleaner. And as a software engineer myself, I'm like, if
That
this
feels
just could be one
a bit
field.
manual. Yep. Yeah, so I can imagine a future where, yeah, in the guest portal, we would let you, have that conversation with the guest in a more structured way. So we'd have structured data and they could request that and that would automatically update in the task instructions for the cleaner. That's not available today, but that's also, as you know, not out of the question for sure. That's good feedback.
And maybe one of the workarounds is the add-ons, even making it an add-on at a zero cost.
Yep.
That could be a workaround right now.
Yes. Yeah, that's also a good idea. I don't know if that, unblocks us in any meaningful way, but for you, as far as communicating to the guest that's there and an option, they might see it there. They might miss your conversation. Yeah, $0 upsells as a way to communicate options are I think a lot of hosts are doing that and having good results with that for sure.
Okay, great. And I did put another question in as well. I did do my first direct booking, which I'm so excited about. It didn't go through properly, but I did see an answer in the Q&A that I can go ahead and just ask for a human to help me walk through what went wrong in that process. Because I'm sure after I've done it the first time, then it'll be easy as pie afterwards.
Okay, sure. Okay. Thank you for the
Okay.
feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ginny. Okay, next up we have Emily. Hello, Emily. Inviting you on stage.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You have a question for
Okay,
us?
so yes, as far as the task management, I know you guys are in the future rolling out an option to pay people weekly or bi-weekly. My cleaners really like the idea of getting paid the next day, but I do have several cleaners that will clean, 10, 15 properties for me a day. Will there be an option instead of paying them 10 or 15 different times in one day, or I mean the next day, to lump that all into one at the end of every day?
Yeah, that's come up a lot. I think that you don't want to bundle payments at like the task level. You want to bundle them at the teammate level, and that makes more sense. So sending multiple payments to the same payee, that's something that will come with the payment scheduling, I think. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you, Emily. Okay, next up we have Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Great. So my question is two parts. Wanting to know on the task management side, with the cleaning features that were brought out from the marketplace cleaners. I love that you guys are looking at that. I've been using Turno for a while, but I would love to keep it all in-house, and especially, how if they can have direct access to the calendar and see all the updates and stuff. But so far the experience on it has been, on mobile specifically, has not really been useful for me. It's been really challenging just to even like message a cleaner, know kind of who's coming, if they've confirmed it or not. And I saw you were doing updates for like internal teams that we're adding. But as far as like the marketplace cleaners, like if somebody that is pulled from, I think it's the Cleanster marketplace, what's like the roadmap, or is there any plans to sort of specifically improve that experience, especially on mobile? Because with cleaners, if I can message them through the app, ideally that would be a great experience. But right now it's really laggy. It takes several clicks just to even get to figure out where to message them from, and it's not really an easy experience at the moment.
Yep. Thanks for that feedback. They share a lot of components. So yeah, if you were along for like the journey of when we launched that marketplace with Cleanster, that was kind of the start of what we announced in the last town hall, which was now you can do similar things with your own team. So what we, learned working with Cleanster about how to do, cleaning operations better, how to, get messaging into our product, working through the Cleanster's own app. We tried to build all of those components in a shared way. So yes, now that we have more attention and more teammates on that same infrastructure or components, we're going to be making improvements throughout the entire operations product. So those are going to start coming as well to the Cleanster marketplace experience that you're alluding to, including messaging. And that's feedback we've gotten. I don't think our messaging experience is super great at the moment. It's functional. We need to do some improvements on notifications in the teammate app right now. And I think we're going to completely rework the experience you have messaging either a Cleanster marketplace cleaner or your own team, by making that a lot easier to get in and out of that. It should be a high volume, high frequency experience. So there's too much friction for that today, for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Yeah, and the other part of the question around just the overall app experience on mobile. I'm on Android, and one of the other features I would love to use more often is the voice to text feature, but that seems to also be really laggy or just doesn't work at all, at least on my side. So I just tend to not use that at all, but I know you have built that out. So I just kind of wanted to also give you some feedback on that. I don't know if that's something that you're aware of in terms of the voice to voice feature on Android specifically.
We're aware. Yeah, we've heard, especially recently, that there had been some issues with this. It's on our minds to go ahead and fix that.
Okay, great. Yeah, just wanted to let you guys know about that. But I love the products you guys put out, and great job. Thanks for everything.
Great. Thank you very much, Tony. We appreciate it. Okay, next up, I'm going to invite Jen to stage. Hello, Jen. If you can unmute yourself, you can ask us your question. We'll give you 10 seconds, Jen. If you can't manage to find the unmute button, we'll have to move on. If not, you'll have to type your question in the Q&A. Okay, I think we'll have to try someone else, and we'll potentially try and come back to you later. Okay, Quinton, inviting you on stage. Hello, Quinton.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you. Do you have a question for us, Quinton?
I do. All right. Well, firstly, appreciate all your hard work. Really like the direction we're heading in for 2026. Thanks again. Uh, I just wanted to highlight, or shall I say, reiterate what Tony was mentioning. Andrew, it sounds like obviously you have a good feel for what needs to happen there, but yes, messaging with our cleaners is huge. And a high frequency activity. So if that could be easier, that would be great. More specifically on that topic, my question was more about is there a resource or a point of reference that is available that we can use to, I guess, help coach up our cleaners in utilizing the app? Right now, that's been my biggest challenge. They log in and can access it, but are not as familiar with how to navigate from their side, and I don't see their perspective. So I'm not exactly sure how to coach them up without being exactly in a room with them looking at it. Is there something we can leverage?
Um, we should have something, but I'm not aware offhand. Let me go take a look. If we don't have something, I will get back to you and give you that. Um, but yeah, there is a lot of designed onboarding that we have not implemented yet into the app. We've tried to keep it relatively simple, but yeah, that's good feedback that your team is struggling with that. So yeah, that's something we are looking at now is how to make that easier. And obviously, we want to take that burden off of you to not have to be doing that. And just kind of like we learned with the guest portal, it's hard sometimes when you can't see it. So yeah, we can do better there.
Fair enough. I appreciate your attention on that one. You also mentioned, Andrew, notifications, which I know you guys are going to be working on. I just wanted to ask a question around exactly what our plans are. And it goes along the lines of streamlining the communication. Right now, I get text messages to my cell phone. Sometimes they're replying to the text that I think, well, to my cell phone directly. Sorry. They also get notifications from Hospitable to their cell phone, and when they reply, it comes to my email. So it's just several places where I get that information. When you guys do work on that, I'm hoping that there will be a way to kind of select what notification that teammate receives, with ultimately the plan is to drive them directly to the app so it can be exclusively communicating in the app. So just hoping that was on you all's radar.
Yep, no, we're aligned on that as well. And that's, I think, one of the big things the app is correcting is your teammates never had a workspace before to actually kind of manage that workflow, which is yeah, accepting a declining task, having a backlog of that. That's only been happening in notifications until this app came along. And so, yeah, with each notification, we have a chance to pull in your teammates into the app and give them more space to kind of take care of everything rather than have to keep up with their emails or their SMS. So we're absolutely aligned there. I think the app does solve a lot of those problems. No, our job is not done on that notification configuration and flow and what is the optimal style, but we're absolutely aligned that we want to bring the team into the app when there's a new status update, and then they can do a lot while they're there, and the communication can be a lot better. So yeah, we're aligned on your feedback.
Fair enough. Thanks for that, Andrew. Also, upsells, the standardized ones like late checkout, late early check-in. I believe you can only have one um, instance of each that can be used across multiple properties. The challenge I have there is with having a variety of properties, what I would charge for, let's say, a 2 hour late checkout, as well as whether a 1 hour or 2 hour late checkout is even available at a given property versus another, can truly vary. So I think that's a scenario where we should have the ability to, even if it's just obviously one instance for per property, we should be able to have multiple so that it can be used in a more configurable way across properties. I'm wondering if that's on you all's kind of roadmap to allow us to break that out differently, more specifically per property.
Give me 2 seconds literally to click through in our. Yes, you can. If you go into guest experience, so the guest portal section, when you click on add product, you should be able to add another early check-in or late checkout option. And inside it, you can specify which properties it applies to. So you can have some that are for these properties and others that are for those properties. You should be able to do exactly what you want to right now.
Perfect. Thanks for clarifying that. Sorry, that's a user error on my end.
No worries. Cool. No worries.
And one last one I think is going to be huge as it relates to upsells. Right now, I don't believe, and if it's on my end, please clarify. that there's an ability to have like a generic link to a guest portal that, depending on the guest that's accessing that link, can then somehow validate or log in, so that they're directed at that point to their own reservation. And the reason why I think that's huge is because I think that opens the window for more placement, even outside of the Hospitable app, to bring them back in to the Hospital app. And the gimme here, guys, is like having QR codes. I would love to place that around the home, situationally, where they can scan and then possibly purchase some additional product or service. So is that even possible to have a generic link?
Right now, no. Work was started on this not too long ago. We just need to finish it. We know about this. This has been asked for sure from plenty of folks. Yes. So exactly what you said. It's in progress, basically. We just need to get it over the line. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's all I have. Again, thanks so much for you all's efforts. Really excited about where we're going. So thanks.
Thank you very much for your questions, Quinton. Thank you, team, for the answers. Okay, we have a few more people with their hands raised. Vedanth, inviting you on stage. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing?
Okay, good. Question was about direct booking. How do you guys handle direct booking? In the sense, like, I attended one session like this, and there was a mention about having like a poster or something at home where the guests can scan the QR code and they will be directed to the website. I was just wondering, how do we do that?
Yeah, so it's not something you can do within the product right now. However, we
Okay.
definitely want to make it easier to generate a QR code for your direct booking website. But you can use, there's lots of tools out there, like Canva is one of them, that you can make a QR code, and you just need to take your direct booking website URL and connect it to the QR code. I think we even have like a template. That we
Right.
have.
Yeah, I was looking for the template too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have that somewhere, and we can track that down and share that with you.
Okay.
Well,
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you.
we can email that to you after the session. Great.
Okay.
Thank you
Awesome.
very much,
Thank you.
Vedanth.
Mhm.
Great. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have Fakhreddin. Hello, welcome you on stage.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me fine?
Perfectly loud. Yes. Sorry. Perfectly
Sorry,
fine. Yes, no
I
problem.
screamed a little. Yeah, no, I just this was a question about the new task, and I'm trying to. I'm a data engineer, so I I know a little bit of the back end. So a little bit a question I did want to ask. So is there a way to require photo verification before payment becomes eligible, or that's because, for example, if someone provides a photo that's old,
Yeah.
rather than a new photo, and they still get, some form of something like that. Is there like a in between process to verify these photos, like timestamps along those lines?
Yes. So we do verify timestamps and we flag it. So like 2 weeks ago when we talked about this topic and a few related, we're building for you and your trusted cleaners primarily. I think that was a gap with some of the other competitors of like task apps, right? Is they were built to be too restrictive. I think the first part of your question was like, can we require the photos?
Yep.
That we don't require today, along that same line, is we wanted to make it, I think, permissive at first, but flag anomalies or flag maybe exceptions, right? So we want the cleaning to be completed. We want people to be able to upload photos. And if they're not recent photos, we flag those to make, help you make your own decisions about the cleaning. I think we will come back and give you kind of a configuration preference that you can do. So if you want to require a certain number of photos or certain tasks that must be checked off, like we don't require the checklist to be done, those will come. But yeah, already today we will flag the metadata from those images.
Oh, okay. So in the back end, it can actually check
Yep.
the time when it was, and like the geotag also, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and we're like one of the kind of the cool things that we want to do once we get beyond kind of more of the fundamentals is give you shareable links hosted on our server that highlight that metadata and the fact that it is immutable. When you need to be making cases about claims to Airbnb or security deposit withholdings and getting chargebacks, whatever. We want to make a really nice presentation of that. So it's not just you uploading an image and saying, hey, this is what the house looked like before, this is what it looked like after. We can prove that and help you make a better defense of whatever case you're trying to make.
Gotcha. So on that same note, then, are there any alerts for like in between process, let's say late arrivals or missed tasks, or do I have to monitor that manually?
I mean, you're getting real-time status now on who's on the way, arrived, and in progress. I don't believe we are doing notifications yet if we don't hear from them, like hear from the teammate when we're expecting them. We should do that. We have to be a little bit careful. There's so many hosts that I talk to that have very casual relationships on scheduling.
Of course.
We want the teammate to be able to reschedule within a window as well. And that's probably what the decision on like how we do that notification is going to rest is having that context, that capability, and knowing, okay, we actually were expecting this. Now we should notify you. We don't have maybe the high enough confidence to be worried about spamming you and giving you too much noise rather than signal.
Mhm. Oh, okay. And I guess a next question I would have is just like I just was thinking of it. But when it comes to, I think someone else talked about it when it came to teaching their cleaners. Uh, how I know you said this is for more of a casual, as of right now, it's more for a casual relationship between your cleaners. So how do we measure like cleaner performance, like the acceptance rate or issues? Is there like you know how in the text messages it shows that if there's an issue with a guest, let's say AC, and then it flags it. Will this have kind of the same form of like there was an issue that came up that can be flagged outside of the photo verification?
So you're looking for an issue of the cleaning itself or an issue from
Yeah,
like the
like
guest stay?
measuring cleaner performance basically, because this
Yeah.
this seems like combining just a all in one place for interactions with the cleaner. I'm just looking for because right now I just communicate with my cleaners via WhatsApp, so it's hard to keep track
Yeah.
of a lot of these issues, if any.
Yep, agreed. And we heard a lot of the same from other hosts. So yeah, we in the previous town hall we gave you a sneak peek at like what the guest review implementation is going to be, and so we'll be sharing snippets using AI to process feedback for the cleaner mentioned by guests, showing them the cleanliness category score and making a feed of that on the dashboard of the app. So we're super excited for that. We're going to be giving you metrics views in the Hospitable product, so you can then look at your cleanliness scores by cleaner. Now that we know that the assigned cleaner is the one doing the job, we can actually start to show you like your cleaner performance in guest reviews.
Okay.
We're excited with that. And then I think, we've had requests for you to be able to rate a clean based on the evidence you see and give feedback and have that tied to the job or the task as well. So there's several different things we want to do. None of those are live just yet, but we should have the guest review before the next town hall, I would imagine, and we'll be able to share that in 2 weeks.
Gotcha. So, and is as of right now, are there any integration with like accounting tools like QuickBooks or Wave or Nova or something along those lines, or planned for that?
We get a lot of feedback on this. I think we're tracking everything. We're not doing great reporting just yet, but we will, and we will be able to like backfill everything. We're gonna have great reporting. We know that you need help with W-9s and 1099s for your cleaners as well for tax
Yep.
purposes. We're going to be doing everything we can to make that as easy as possible. We've got a little bit of time still, so we're not doing it just yet.
Yeah.
We do create expenses in like the owner statements, mogul product. So you have expenses that you can then assign to different businesses and manage there. But based on the feedback, I imagine we're going to be getting more and more sophisticated in how we help you with the accounting of those payments.
Okay. No, I apologize if some of these are high level. I just want to make sure that things are covered. And I know
Yeah.
it says no service fee for the first 90 days. What does that exactly mean? So I know it's 1.5% per transaction capped to like what, $5 or $6.
$5, yeah.
Let's say we start the service tomorrow and someone didn't pick up a task till next month. Would that start from tomorrow or once
It,
someone picks up a task?
The fine print would be that any payment that we pay out before May
Yep.
1st, we're not going to charge you any fees on that.
Oh, okay. No, that
Yep.
makes sense. And I'm guessing this is closer to, I mean, I know it's a fully put out product, but this is closer to beta, still kind of testing things out as of right now.
Yeah, sure. Like we don't have payment scheduling yet. Like that's what we need to do. One reason why we're not charging is we don't help you kind of have a weekly, a monthly payment cycle where you could minimize those fees. So we're not going to charge you until we get that out, and that's coming very
Gotcha.
soon as well.
What's the estimated like time frame for something? That's how I pay my cleaners. It's once every 2 weeks, once every month. So is there an estimated time frame on that?
Before May 1st.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. That's all my questions. That's all my questions that I have for today. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, we have some time for some more questions. Zula, inviting you on stage. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Zula. How can we help you today?
Yes, I'm just new and I was interested looking at the website and I just saw this Zoom meeting and it came in. So I want to ask, like, in order to have a direct booking, do I have to have my own direct booking site? And is there any help from you guys, like, like on this and get a booking from my, I don't know how it works. Anyway, my question is, I want to have a direct booking. Is there any way you guys help with that?
Yes, yeah, we support direct booking. You can set up a direct booking website. You can set up a hospitable hosted direct booking website in a couple of minutes because we have all of your property information and photos. To answer your question around do you need a website, you can also create direct booking, like what we call custom quotes. So if a guest gets into contact with you directly, and you can create a direct booking on your calendar through a custom quote, which we'd help you collect the payment from that guest. It would be a direct booking, otherwise just not coming in through your website. But yeah, we can help you get started on direct. And you can get a website set up really quickly.
So in Hospitable, I can get my direct booking, as I understood. So does it include to the payment month, the one showing on the like, like host or something like that? I have to choose.
You're breaking up a little bit there, Zula. I think maybe what we can do is our team can follow up with you over email, and we can maybe arrange a call to kind of talk you through that and help you get it set up with Direct and answer any questions you have. Your audio seems to be coming in and out a little bit at the moment.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Zula. Appreciate the question. Thank you for joining the session. Okay. Moving on, we have a question from Adrian. Hello, Adrian.
Yeah, good day. Thanks for putting this on. I will say I'm absolutely loving Hospitable so far, so thank you. And then again, hopefully you can hear me as well.
All good.
We can.
Okay, good. Well, I'll kind of keep this brief. So as a part of my process as a new client of yours, I'm getting QuickBooks set up. And I see that QuickBooks maps a lot of the chart of accounts, Hospitable maps the chart of accounts into QuickBooks. And as I'm going through that process and we have my bank account selected, it lists all those different chart of accounts, and I'm coming up with an error message, for example, that says, quote unquote, management fees already exists in the system, so in QuickBooks. I guess my question is, in order to allow Hospitable to fully integrate and connect, do I just need to go into QuickBooks and change what I already have labeled as management fees to something else to let Hospitable do that setup piece?
Hey, Adrian. So I can try to speak to this one, but it also might be something we need to dig a little bit further into. What's likely happening is that we already suggest an account called management fees. We should be detecting that you have one and like suggesting that you link them together, but maybe we've missed that for some reason. What you can do in that chart of accounts is in the drop down next to management fees, you should be able to open it up and then select the pre-existing account. If that's still not working, definitely write into support if you haven't already, and we can troubleshoot it further with you and get it sorted out.
Okay, yeah, will do. I will take a look at that. I know there's two messages. I get to see that first one, and it says there's another message. I'm not sure which that is yet. So I'll take those steps, review that, see if I can get it corrected, and if not, I'll reach out to you guys through an email. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the question, Adrian. Okay, we're gonna, I think we had Janine already, but inviting you back, Janine. Hello.
Yep, it's me again. So several weeks ago, when you were talking about direct bookings and insurance, and right now in the US, there's a lot of spring break going on, and unfortunately, I did have some damage to my unit. Now, can you just briefly describe again the insurance that that Hospitable offers, and how it differs, whether the booking comes from Vrbo or Airbnb or a direct booking?
Yeah, so for direct premium, we offer damage protection through Truby. So you can submit a claim if you had damage from a direct booking guest, you can submit a claim through Truby. For your other bookings, so for Airbnb, Vrbo, and other channels, we currently offer secure deposits. And we're looking at expanding our damage protection to other forms of protection like damage protection or damage waivers. But right now we do offer secure deposits for as another layer of damage protection on other channels.
Okay, so the host would pay per booking for a secured insurance?
Uh, Eventually, yes, we will offer damage protection that you could pay an additional fee per booking to have damage protection on top of those other bookings from other channels. Or you can pass along that cost to the guest in the form of a secure deposit or a damage waiver eventually.
Okay. And then I also took a quick screenshot of the slide that said triple referral rewards. The complex that I own in has 145 units, and I know, I've been really happy with the Hospitable and would like to encourage other people to do the same. It says refer 5+ and unlock VIP status, and then extra bonus for 7+. So what is VIP status?
VIP means you have priority stop support as a status. So others need to pay a little extra to get access to the priority support. You basically earn it for life. You also get access to my WhatsApp in case you need to escalate something. I want to say hi to John that sent me a message obviously during this session to tell me that he wanted to take advantage of his VIP status. There is nothing else pretty much interesting there. I think that's it on the VIP support level that we have. So it's basically a fast lane for priority for support in particular, plus me on top of it, which you don't have on priority support, which definitely means I orient you to people that are far more competent than I am about resolving a particular problem or getting you the best answer. Yeah.
So let's say if I could get 50 people signed up for Hospitable. I'm a little confused of whether I should just use the referral thing or whether I should some of them will ask me, hey, can you check on this? Can you check on that? Can you help me out to get it set up and stuff like that? So should I be just doing the referral thing or should I be doing like a property manager thing, even though I'm not technically the property manager, I'm just helping out my neighbors?
That's a question I'm not going to answer for you.
Okay.
Because it seems like that depends really on what your business is like. You may have an opportunity here, depending on if you have the appetite. Some do, some don't. If you basically want to be a great neighbor and recommending them a software that you believe is good, you can go the referral route, which means you will get some credits. I think definitely the person who is signing up will also get some credits. So you're definitely doing the very neighborly thing. You also, what do I say? Yeah, you will gain access to the VIP status, and then basically that can be it. If you really want to help those neighbors to get onboarded, that's a great thing, absolutely. If you want to be a property manager, your mileage may vary. That could be a lot of things going on. I think depending on the services that you want to offer, definitely there is a part that is software implementation and/or reselling. I think that's always kind of a component to everything, but you need to do more. Like there can be the revenue management, the turnover management. Hospitable can be a great help with that. But that definitely, especially for the numbers you're talking about, a very good number of properties to have a full-time job and then some.
Yeah.
So
thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
But yeah, it's your business decision. Good luck with that. So yeah, I think we're gonna be closing at time. We had enough questions for 40 minutes. Of course we did. So thank you to everybody. We have plenty of time to go back and forth, especially on Hospitable Tasks. That is the newest, coolest feature and product, because it's really a full revamp of our operations product. So thank you very much for everyone that is giving it a try. As you understand, this is still a product that is in development. We believe there is a certain amount of value that we can deliver to you today. And in the following weeks, we'll keep sharing more about our updates on Hospitable Task and more features, especially around payments. I want to kind of hype a little bit or tease the next town hall. It's going to be on April 1st. We may or may not do April Fools, but having a town hall on April 1st means that there is going to be something special. And I'm not going to lie, the thing we're going to share is what took me, I think, a good 6 years to go through and to think about and to find a way to make it happen. I don't know whether it's going to have a great reception. I'm going to do my best, but it's definitely going to be a very special town hall for Hospitable because of the amount of work and thought that was put into it. It may be also a great thing for some of you as hosts, as property managers. And it's basically closing a loop on about 3 years of software development that we've done, which I think is quite a fair description of the amount of work that was put into it. So yeah, please, if this is your first town hall, this was a great one. They tend to be more packed. Next one will be definitely one of the former category. Yeah, cannot wait to have you there. Thank you so very much. See you on April 1st.